Hamilton Ticats lose 29-26 to the Edmonton Eskimos on Friday. I'm here with the Spec Steve Milton. We'll talk about the game, Steve, but I think we should talk about Andy Fantuz. His injury, which looked significant, I think could have long-term implications for this team's chances down the road.
To me, that's the story right now. I mean, that is the game, even though they lost that game. And as we mentioned earlier, first time they're going to finish under 500 in the Austin era. Losing Fantuz has so many reverberations down through the entire lineup, but also to the spirit of the team as well. I think it's going to change the ratio, but he was just having a great year. And when you look at your second and kind of medium length, 6 to 8 yards receptions, that's your guy, and now they've got both of those guys down, Tasker and Fantuz. And I agree with you. He's not playing next week, that's for sure. And who knows what.
Yeah,
how long after. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a long-term injury. I don't think there's any question about that unless there's some miracle. I think Andy Fantuz is done for the year and probably beyond that, to be completely honest.
You hit it right on the head when we were sitting beside each other in the press box. You say you look at the way the receiver reacts or the injured player reacts if he's a veteran. And we knew right away. Yeah. And we knew by Collaros' reaction.
And I think that what you have to understand about Fantuz is not only is he a great player, but he's Canadian, which means there is no other Fantuz on this roster. There isn't another Fantuz in this league right now, to be completely honest. And so to make up for that, they're going to have to make some decisions about how to play the ratio and to try and get that production back, both of which will leave them with a number of hard decisions. So that's the thing to recognize about Fantuz. It's not just his ability on the football field, it's his Canadianness that makes this hard.
And I think there's a comfort zone there with both quarterbacks because he's such a possession receiver. I mean, the irony of this, it was a non-contact play, and how many hard hits has he taken this year in his 100 receptions? 75?
Yep.
I mean, and he didn't really get hurt. He had some nicks, but I feel sorry for him right now. You have to feel sorry for Ticat fans as well.
Yeah, free agent at the end of the year, which means he may have issues getting contract for next year, getting up there in age as well. It just from a personal level, it's going to impact him as well. Yes. So lots of permutations for this for Fantuz. Let's talk about the game a little bit. Austin put this pretty well after the game. I mean, they missed a field goal, but there were a lot of little things which undid this team. There were penalties. There was an untimely turnover, some missed assignments, some drops. I mean, it was a lot of little things that added up to a loss.
Those penalties, especially those holding ones, and it was what could have been had the plays stood. And you have to say, well, maybe the plays wouldn't have been made without some of those holding penalties, but they were pretty brutal, and they really cost some field position. One of them put them all the way back to the 10-yard line here and put them in the shadow of the goalpost. Zach moved him up a little bit out of that. But, yeah, this is the kind of – they can't shake this. This is what we were talking about near the start of the year. We're talking about now, the offensive line, I have to say, looks a little better. But the defensive backfield, and now 2 more guys from that backfield, 2 guys who weren't starters but were starting tonight, are gone.
Darius Brooks, who looks okay, by the way. Ticats issued an update on him late after the game saying that he'll be released from hospital by the end of tonight. But Johnny Adams, who they traded for to play corner, looks like he could be missing some significant time as well. So again, they'll be patching that secondary together as they have all season long.
Yeah, this is starting to look like a real struggle here for them. I mean, it's been a struggle all year. They haven't quite, it's just something a little bit off. And just when you think they're going, they don't get on the roll. It actually was sort of personified by, not personified isn't the right word, exemplified by the game tonight. You thought, hey, this offense is rolling, and then bang.
Wow. Look, we've been talking about their ability to overcome, and we saw it last year when Collaros got hurt and Mazzoli leading them to a playoff win. This year, Collaros is dealing with the injuries, all the people that they've lost, and you sort of thought at the beginning of this game they scored 10 quick points, and all of a sudden you're starting to feel that maybe they're onto something after the big win last week, and then Fantuz goes down, the other 2 guys get injured, and you have to think to yourself, how much can one team overcome and take in one given year?
Yeah, I mean, you hope players aren't asking themselves that. Coaches are saying that among themselves, but you're right. They've done a really, really good job there. But at what point is it too much? And you wonder if this is the point. But so far they've managed to come back enough times. But here's what isn't happening. Which we thought might happen here was given the game last week and given the fact that they could have won the game the week before against Ottawa, that maybe this was hitting your stride and exactly what you need to do when you go into the playoffs. It doesn't matter what you did before that. Now
that stride's knocked off again.
It looks very much like the middle of the season and the start of the season.
Yep. Make sure you check out the Spectator on Saturday for Game Story. Steve will be writing for Monday. We'll have a bunch of stuff up on 3 Down Nation. Reporting from Tim Hortons Field, I'm Drew Edwards. He's Steve Malton.